fellow gamers and mech warriors. We're taking a look at the new Moonwalker content. We're going to find out if this is actually worth investing money into it. In the world, I hope you're having a great time. Welcome to the stream. We're going to take a look at this baby right here. This is new content. This is something PGI, Piranha Games developers, have added to the game. What makes this so different than the other mechs in the game? Well, the other mechs in the game are classified as stock mechs, shall we say? Let's take a look at the store. Let's go through this briefly. If you look at the stock mechs, and let's go down to an assault mech. This is a Madcap. So let's head down here to the Madcap Mark II. We're running a sale right now just because of the event and so forth of this mech. So when you start looking at these stock mechs, you can purchase these mechs with in-game currency. As you move along towards the end and you take a look at the Death Strike, this is a special hero mech. You get 30% CBIL bonus. This is not much different than what you see in World of Tanks. When you have premium tanks that give you increased game currency you earn with that tank. Again, it's a different type of game, and they have obviously different crews that they train and they function different than the tanks, but different game, same concept. And you have specialty mechs. And these specialty mechs have different hard points. So let's take a look and see what we're talking about. Quick view of the mech right here. Different hard points, and they change among your mechs. Different variants, different quirks, engineering quirks, making the mech play different. So you get your chassis bonus. There's a UAC jam chance minus 20%. And you get different armor slots. And you got your different schematics of how the mech plays. You can modify this with your engineering skill tree we talked about in the previous streams. With that being said, what makes the Moonwalker so different? Well, Moonwalker is what they call a legendary mech. It's something that the game designers have added to the game. It's a new style of premium mech. Shall we say a true premium mech? You're paying real life currency for it. But what's nice about this concept is it comes with its own battle pass. A mini battle pass which is attached to this mech. Piranha Games is pushing the envelope again in this concept where this battle pass is not time sensitive. You spend your real hard-earned cash on this mech, you get the battle pass, you own that battle pass. They understand people have real lives and they can't game 12 hours a day. So you earn the in-game content of that battle pass at your leisure. There has been talk about this mech being overpowered. It is impressive as hard points. You're looking at multiple ballistics. Check the loadout. You're looking at multiple ballistics. If this was intentionally done by Piranha Games to make this thing different, because what you've done is you've introduced something called a power creep into the game. What is power creep? This is something that's plagued game designers, especially live content, game content creators. Power creep is a challenge in every multiplayer game, especially live streaming games like this. You're always looking for new content to push the envelope, to keep the game fresh. So you're looking at power creep that involves a concept of progression, customization, with frequent updates. Just like they're trying to do in Mechwarrior Online. A power creep is basically a situation where you look at the new content, the new feature content, as something a little more powerful or slightly stronger than existing content in the game. It can make content that's already there, like we've just seen with the prior Madcap, kind of obsolete or irrelevant. And you create this concept of an imbalance in the game. So, was that intentionally designed by Piranha Games? I don't know. I don't think they intentionally designed this to be too much different. But then again, too, you're entering this realm where you marketed this in your last dev stream as being something that is completely completely different out of all the other Mad Cat variants out there. So in order to make it completely different than other Mad Cat variants, they knocked off one of the internal structures. I don't know if that was intentional, because if you look at this, this only has a C-build chassis bonus of 30%. It's got a nice reverse speed of 30%, which, as I like to play light mechs, speedy mechs, it kind of catches you off guard as it moves a little quicker. But the point is this, it only has a 30% C-build bonus, which other hero mechs have. And I pointed out with the Death Strike early on. So, is this something that they make completely different than the other Mad Cats when they said something's going to be completely different with the quirks? To me, the C-build quirk is nothing exciting. Maybe they should have made it a 50% C-build change to make it worth somebody investing their hard-earned money into it. Reverse speed at 30%, that's a nice quirk, sure. Is it enough to spend real money on this? I don't think so. But the selling point is they made a mech that actually has different hard points so you can kind of shove things in there and kind of make it a little overpowered. I think some content creators have already put videos up there showing how overpowered they feel this mech is, and that they feel maybe it needs a nerf. Nerfing is when you decrease the strength of that in-game content. You kind of bring it back down to the power base of what's around it. I think you kind of create a situation here where when you tell people you're making something completely different, then you release it after they purchase it, and then you're going to have to nerf it right away or decrease the power of it. Maybe add an activator on. If you do that, you change what you can put in the arms. I think that's created a big question mark of what you can do, because this has happened in a similar game, which is World of Tanks. They released premium tanks, they rushed them out, and they went to nerf them. About 10 years ago this happened, and there was a lot of kickback in the player base. Roller Gaming, which owns World Tanks, turned around and actually had to, I guess he'll texting me on this now as they're listening to me. As they're looking at this, they actually gave the in-game currency, which is not MC, as we call it here in this game. In their game, it's called gold. They offered a refund. They offered giving gold level return on this. But there was a lot of kickback because there's around the world, there's different legal aspects of changing content that you purchase. So if you change content you purchase already, there are different laws around the world, different countries stating you can or can't do that. So really you need to take this seriously is when you turn around and say, I'm going to nerf this right away. So that Piranha Games needs to take a look at that. Now, how does Wargaming get around that? Because they just released articles out there, and some gamers out there talking about it. In 2023, they're looking at nerfing more premium tanks. How do they get around it? Because some states out there, countries out there, don't have these laws. And also their sister company, World of Warships, when they release premium ships, they have a disclaimer that this may be modified at future times for balancing issues. They put a disclaimer out there. Now, let me just say this. I think Piranha Games does not have an issue with changing this mech, because let's go back in and take a peek at this. So let's take a peek here. All right. So what are you looking at here in this whole schematic? What are we looking at right here? Shoulder, upper, lower. When they clearly sold this in a pre-order, they had the lower arm actuator listed there. So I think at this point in time, this is a mute issue. Piranha Game developers can march in here anytime they want and modify this mech. I think by looking at this, when I purchased this pre-order to support the devs of the new content coming out for the Legendary Mechs, you know, when I looked at this, I said, okay, they said they were going to modify this, maybe change C-builds around, so forth. But they clearly listed a lower arm actuator in that design. Alright, it was clearly listed there. But let's go back here. Let's go select this mech, and let's go load out. Here is clearly here, not here. So I think when they launched this, I think developers clearly made a mistake in the development of the game. They did not list it on here. It should have been present here. That being said, what makes this mech so different than the other? I mean, why wouldn't I just go get a Death Strike? I don't know. The mini battle pass is a neat idea. Great content, great idea. They're pushing the concept of a battle pass and changing it maybe for mature players, or changing the idea of a battle pass. I don't know. But that being said, I don't, without this being like a 50% C-Bill quirk or something else in this game, I don't see how this wows me. I don't see how this is going to be if my son, who games with me, came to me, and we talk about this with real old tanks and so forth, and their tanks and premium tanks. If he came to me, and I was not big into this game, and I sat down, we always sit down and we talk about the pros and cons of streaming, we talk about the content coming out. If he was to show me this, and I was not big into this game, I would say this is not enough to tell me to purchase this. So this is something that needs to be worked on by developers. I think it's great early content. It's a great idea for the first Legendary Mech coming out, but it doesn't wow me. I think PGI needs to go back to the drawing board and take a look at what they're trying to release. They're talking about new weapons being added to the game. Okay? New weapons. Now, whether they're backloading into weapons from Mechwarrior 5 with chemical lasers, or different like rifles they're adding in the game, I don't know. But maybe they need to go back to the drawing board and say, okay, well, maybe instead of releasing same chassis with different variants, different quirks, let's bring chemical lasers into the game, and then let's make that next mech have a quirk for a chemical laser, which no other mech in the game has right now. If you were to tell you to bring a chemical laser into this game and turn around and say, all right, Moonwalker, you're going to have a quirk for a rifle ballistic or a chemical laser. Nobody else in the chassis has that. Automatically, this makes it unique compared to other mechs in the game. Turn around and make this C-Bill bonus 50%. Wow the players. Say, hey, you know what? This gives me an extra bonus. Don't sit there and tell me that, well, that's too much C-Bills in the game. You already have that in the game. Let me show you what, like, one mech I love. I love my light mechs. What's one light mech? A loyalty mech. What do I have here? Let's swing down here. I got a C-Bill bonus quirk right here, right, of 30%. But I also have additional cockpit items I put in the game, in the cockpit, that gives me an additional bonus to making. So I think I make like 40% C-Bills on this one mech. So I'm already trying, because they have objects you can put in your cockpit to deck them out, be silly, make it look completely different. When you're playing, you got strobe lights in there, whatever you want to be silly. But some of those items give you either XB bonuses or C-Bill bonuses. It's there already. So what you need to do is maybe custom build that concept into your Legendary Mech. Make it something completely different. Because, you take a look at this guy right here. I earned this from an event in the game. Okay, I earned this mech right here as a free event in the game. Just by playing the event, I earned some colors, had a good time with it. It's a fun mech. So, if I'm having a great time with something that's only giving me something else that has only 30% more C-Bill bonus, I mean, I'm okay not buying it then. It's not wowing me. So I think this will get a modification if PGI decides that it needs to add in an internal structure in the arm. They've already stated in pre-orders that it actually should be there. I think it's a mute issue. I think you should take it out and enjoy it while you can play it before they modify it.